Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Ivy Backed. I am very excited because I have a new studio. It is a big improvement, I think, on what I've been using. And thanks to Sam for helping me set this thing up. I was up kind of late last night, but yeah, I'm really pumped that I have some cool colors going on and some Ivy brand colors. So that's really exciting. So thank you, Sam. If you haven't watched the show before, this is a show about Kickstarter, specifically more about how we look at Kickstarters. So I look at Kickstarters all the time. One, because I love games, and two, because I am curious at what is hot and trending in the world of Kickstarter, because we launch games on Kickstarter and I need to learn a lot. So I found myself doing that for maybe an hour or more a week, and really was just kind of thinking about how I could share some of the things that I was looking at, because I think that Kickstarter changes a lot, and it's something that we can learn from a bunch of different people. I completely have, in just the 3 weeks we've been doing this series, have learned some things that we're definitely applying to our next Kickstarter, Mythic Mischief. And so I'm really excited just about how much I've learned by taking these deep dives, and I hope people enjoy looking at a Kickstarter from a publisher's perspective. It's not just for people that are possibly going to run a Kickstarter in the future, though that might be helpful. But it gives you kind of an idea of like the knowledge that a publisher has looking at timelines and budgets and the way they're running campaigns might be insightful for you as well. So yeah, before we jump into that, we have a giveaway to do from last week. We gave away a Kickstarter, Moonrakers Kickstarter edition last week, and it was something Star Wars related. I love Star Wars Day. That was a blast. We did a live stream RPG. If you didn't get to check that out, I was DMing, so I apologize. But it was a lot of fun, and we did it all in TTS, so that was really cool. Both Chuck and Casey like my hat. Thank you very much. I am a big fan of Orange Nebula. I think they run really, really clean campaigns and make some really cool games. I am really, really excited for Unsettled. If you didn't see it yet, they showed their massive big box thing, and it looks awesome. So really, really pumped for them. Cool. Yeah. So let's do a giveaway. That sounds fun. All right. So we are going to do it by the number of comment. This week's requirement is just that it be something about Star Wars, but not episode 8. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at the number of comments. There are 49 comments. We're going to put between 1 and 49 in here and just go with a random number generator. And we got 31. That's a long time to count. Austin, you probably should have thought about this. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, load. Casey. Hi, Casey. Are you kidding me? This isn't going to load? Wow. Streamer fail. All right. From Casey, we were at, do I have to count again? 21. This might not be perfect, but we're going with it. What is happening? Well, this is fun. Why won't that load? Okay, we're going to come back to this. I guess we'll do it at the end and see if this is working any better. What the heck? All right, I'm going to do it on this computer. We're doing it live. All right, sorry, guys. This is not how I expected this to go. We are going 31 comments down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm not going to do it this way in the future. This is terrible. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Oh, I'm counting different, but that's fine. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Flagspire Games. Can I use the Force to force you to give me a giveaway prize? Apparently you can. The random number generator does not lie. Are the big winner. So Flagspire, comment on something on social media and we'll direct message you, or message us on Discord, and we will get you your game. Thank you so much for doing that. Oh, look, it's a loop. That's fun. All right. Let's hope we don't have more internet problems. Cool. That was fun. All right. Nicholas said, it's okay, Austin. I checked for you. And mine's the 31st. No need to double check. Oh, that's amazing. I think there's a tool out there that does a random comment selector. Please comment with that, because I'm never doing it that way again. That worked really well last time I did it, but that's because the random number was like 7. And I was like, this is so easy. Why didn't I do this before? That's hilarious. The bug of being live, Sebastian, you are 100% true. Felix, I'm just doing it for the tension. It was totally intended. Peak live stream. Thanks, Sherm. Oh gosh, not to get onto this while it's live. Jason, I apologize that for the first time of you seeing this live, you watched me look for a number for like 31 seconds, probably more than that. All right, let's jump in, shall we? So before we jump in, sorry, if you are considering launching a Kickstarter, or you're about to launch a Kickstarter, or you have a page that's up and you want to talk about it, I'd love to maybe do it live on the show. Just kind of walk through different Kickstarter pages and talk to creators. I think that would be really fun. So thanks, Ian. All right. So before we jump in, I'm going to look and do an update. This is the first time we've had a chance to do an update. Just to kind of look at how a page has changed. And so this is Hidden Leaders. We've been talking a lot about them. We did a IV Backed on them. We did an IV Games Weekly with them. And then tomorrow we were doing a live play with them on IV Played. So I'm really, really pumped for them. I think they have a shot at hitting 300K in these final few days. And one of the things, and I have no idea if they did this because of our show or if they just did this on their own as they were watching conversion and stuff, but a few things that I was concerned about was they had not just a deduction game as their tagline at the top. And that has now changed to an unusual deduction game. And I think that is such a huge improvement. It's just so much better, because this like draws me in, because I'm like, okay, well, how is it unusual now? Like, that unusual is like a good word, because it's not like saying it's better. It's not just like we're the best deduction game that's ever happened, but it does pique my curiosity. So I want to know what you guys think about that terminology, but I really like that. And then they changed their top image too, and this shows off the art of the box cover, which I don't really think they had too many places on the page before. And it does show off the components, but they're big enough to where I can appreciate them a little bit more, and it's not just a what's in the box section that I can't really see. And for them, their selling point wasn't what's in the box, right? It doesn't have minis, it doesn't have a lot of components, it's not really that custom of a game. What was their selling point was gameplay and art, and I think that this hits to that better. And then finally, I complained that they weren't doing enough to convert people because there wasn't a sense of urgency, right? It was like, this is going to retail. You can get it at retail. There's not really that many differences. Yes, they're the stretch goals, but there's not like a Kickstarter exclusive version of the game. And they turned that on its head. They did this amazing little checklist here that talks about why you should back it now versus waiting for the retail version, right? It has the base game, it has the heroes, but it has extra heroes, it has a mini expansion, it has faction cards, it has spot UV on the board, it has screen printing on the meeples. I think they did just incredible changes to this page and improved it greatly. So congrats, BFF. Really, really excited for you guys. Let's get past that 300K. But yeah, congrats to them. All right. First, we are going to look at Stationfall. Check above found tool that Quackalope uses. I'm gonna have to text Jesse and be like, please help me, because I just for 2 minutes on stream looked at a comment and couldn't find it. All right, great. All right, Stationfall. This is doing pretty good. It's got 5 days to go. It's almost to 200K. It'll definitely cap 200K. Over 2,000 backers. Ion Game Design. They've done several other Kickstarters. It was funny. I was watching Alex's thing on this, and he was like, I actually skipped this because I thought I already covered it, because they recently had another space themed game. And I want to look at what that was real fast. Yeah, Dawn on Titan. They have a lot of space themed games. I think we'd probably get along because we also like space. So yeah, that's funny. All right. 5 created, 18 backed. That's not terrible. I wish they had backed more. But that's fine. Like, they're definitely members of the community. They know how to run a Kickstarter page. There's no like surprises. It's not like they were 5 created, 0 backed. But things I like that gameplay is high on the page. You do not have to go far to get to a gameplay section. That's very, very close to the top. So I personally really like that. I think that they have some unique and fun minis. Minis are an interesting thing on Kickstarter because so many people use minis for fantasy games, right? They use minis for Dungeons and Dragons or wargaming or whatever. So they look at a game and if it has great minis, they're like, well, if I don't like the game, at least I can use it in Dungeons and Dragons, right? Space is a little bit less convertible to that. I think there are people that run space RPGs. I do, for instance. I have tons of Star Wars models that I use for that, and ships, but these could definitely be like NPCs in that, but they're not as easy to convert over as like monsters, like dragons or other things. So I think that they do a good job in having these on the page. I can see them. They've got these interesting, unique models. So I do like that. I think that's good. I do think it was a good idea to have it so high, just because that is one of their selling points. However, I don't like that it's an add-on and it's all the way up here at the top. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Hi, Ilya. Thanks for joining the stream. Okay. I like the character breakout section. So past gameplay, they kind of have this like troubleshooter, and they have like the card art and they have the mini to go to that. And they did a good job of converting the art to the minis. In my opinion, they look really close. So I think that's good. I'm going to talk more about the section later too. And they obviously are confident about the game because they've released a TTS mod. So you have to get pretty far down here. Whoa, I actually must have passed it because there's no way. There it is. Tabletop Simulator, play now. Link below. So I like it when campaigns do that. I think there's a lot of reasons to do it and a lot of reasons not to do it. And I'm going to pause and just talk about that separate from their campaign. So on our campaigns, Moonrakers, we did not release a TTS mod. And there were reasons for that. I think the main one was that we really were investing in quality, right? The components are top notch, and we just didn't think you'd have the same experience playing it in person as playing it on TTS. It's also a negotiation game, and on TTS, it's not easy to negotiate. You can't see people. People are all talking. If you're playing with people you don't know on TTS, it's like, cool, someone just told me that they'd go on this for just a credit, and I totally wanted you to come on it, but I have no idea who that was. Like, are you yellow? Are you green? Like, we literally made it a rule in our Discord for a while where it's like, you say, I'm blue, and I will do this. Just because it's really hard to play that way. So we decided that the gameplay would not be good, and we didn't do it until release. After the game released, we added it to TTS, and people really like it on TTS. So maybe it was a mistake not to add it to TTS sooner. Veiled Fate, we had it on TTS the whole time because that's how we did all the playtesting because of the pandemic. We didn't release it right away for similar reasons. It was like a hidden role bluffing game, right? Like it's like you're trying to hide your person, and that's like not the same experience on TTS as it is in person. It's not really a hidden role bluffing game. Strategic deduction game. There we go. But we ended up releasing it on TTS, and I think that was a really good decision. But there are some drawbacks to that, right? It's not the same experience, and then people might play it once and be like, oh, yeah, that was good, but, you know, I've played it, I've had the experience, or they might play it 10 times or 100 times, and they never actually convert to a backer, and that's scary as a developer. But I think there is a really good community around TTS that if they like a game they play on TTS, they will buy it. So anyway, that's my thoughts on TTS. All right. So concerns about this page. Let's go to the top. I don't love the video thumbnail. I think I passed it. I was looking for Stationfall just on like the discovery queue. I passed it at least once, maybe twice, just because the like main. So we talked about visual hierarchy last week. It's like, what is the main thing they want me to read on this thumbnail? And the biggest thing is Kickstarter. And I'm on Kickstarter. So it's not like I need to know that Kickstarter is the thing that I should be looking at, right? I think they need to use this picture other places, but like here it just doesn't make sense to me. So I saw Kickstarter and I saw an alien and I saw that they were funded and I just kept scrolling. So I don't think that this is a good header image or video thumbnail, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, the we are funded graphic just doesn't match the rest of, like, I wish they had done that. Yeah, I don't think that that's needed. They're way past funding at this point. Like in when you're looking at the page, it'll be like 1000% funded or whatever it is. I don't think it's 1,000 yet, but so it's, I don't know. I like that they're saying thank you to their backers. That's not a bad thing. I just don't think that should be the main thing. Like a game funding does not impact on whether I'm going to back it or not. It's the gameplay, the art. Like, yes, funding is important, I guess, especially if you're looking at stretch goals, but this just seems like it's not the most important information they give us. Right away, we jump into the price. So it's like Stationfall, and I like the header. It has Matt Eklund as the game, which it's a name I know. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to take a closer look at this. But the price is like the second thing I see. I see like Stationfall and the game box that I saw above, and then the price. And I just think that they haven't sold me on the game yet. If you have a low price and you think that's one of your competitive advantages, I see putting that there, right? It's like, this is a $25 game, something like Hidden Leaders, where it's an affordable game. I see putting that higher. I don't feel like I know a clue about what Stationfall is, and I already see that at $64, which I don't think is expensive. I mean, Moonrakers was this much for the Kickstarter edition, so it's not like it's in wildly expensive game. It's just I haven't been sold yet. Like, I don't know what I'm even looking at yet. And then that's another thing. I don't know what I'm looking at. The characters and the board are so small. The board is just completely confusing. I can't decipher a single thing. I think that is a space station that I'm looking at, but it's so small that I can't decipher what I'm supposed to be looking at. And that's a complaint I have across the entire page. I just think they need to have a longer page. It's a shorter page. I mean, you look at the bar here, like it's not like that long of a page. Like, expand the page and get these images bigger. This text is pretty dang small. I think that that's an accessibility issue. Like, if you're going to have black text on a white background, maybe just put it in there as plain text, because it's just not excessively readable. I have a very large screen. I have glasses, and I can read it, but it is close. So, all right. So that's our first. You break it down in the content blocks. I'm calling that the first content block, even though this is all one content block. Is we got the price, a very, very zoomed out look at what the components are, and very small text. I like these images. These images are big enough. You got two of the characters here. I think that that's good. But then we get into add-ons, and it's like, I still haven't been sold, guys. Like, Kickstarter is not like if you're running ads, you're giving them just a tease to get them to the Kickstarter page to then tell them more about the game and convert them. Maybe they've got a different workflow set up to where they're converting people ahead of time. Or at least they think they're converting people ahead of time, right? Where it's like, we've convinced them to buy the game, and now we're going to send them to the Kickstarter page. I can see that, but this is almost like a purchasing landing page instead of a Kickstarter page that's convincing me to back the game, in my opinion. And I say that as someone that I like the look of the game, and I love space, and I love the idea of moving around a space station. So like, I'm not opposed to this game. I'm excited about it. I think that they made some order of things mistakes here. So they have amazing quotes. Amazing quotes. I laughed, I cried, I cussed more than once. The stories that come out of this game are memorable, and I can see myself playing Stationfall over and over again. That's Edward from Heavy Cardboard. That's a huge quote. Like, I was not excited about the game until I read that quote. So love that they have that here. That's pretty close to the top. I might separate that out and have that look very different from the rest of the game, like blocks, the content blocks, just because that is such an important quote. I think like that is incredible for them. So congrats to them for making a really good game. It's high, like I said. It is high, and I like that a lot. I think it looks a little bit like a PowerPoint deck that just has a oblong box put around it. Like, it's not very dynamic, and things are too small again. So like, this is just too small. I can't read what's on it. I don't really know what I'm looking at. Like, they've got highlighted sections here called abilities and victory condition. I can't read a single thing on that. It's just too small. Yeah, it's too small. Okay. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, if you kind of hamster or something like that, characters, and it has an icon thing above it that says pick a character. But then it only has 1, 2, 3, 4 characters here. What this is telling me is that I can only play 4 of the characters that I have minis for. But then the game is 1 to 9 players. So I'm assuming I can play all of those characters. But why are they not all Why are they not all broken out here? Like, why am I only getting 1, 2, 3, 4 there? Like, I think it's really misleading. This should be a 9 character long breakout section here. What's in the box? We finally get a bigger look at the board, but I think the board is one of their main selling points. Like, it's this really interesting, like, cross, like, you could see kind of through the space station and all the different chambers and stuff. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think I see it big ever. I think that's the biggest you see it. Yeah. And it's just, you can't read a single thing. Like, I can't be like, oh, cool, they have like a cloning bay and they have like all this stuff. Like, I don't think there's a cloning bay in the game, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's just not big enough to get a feel for the game. Everything on this what's in the box section is too small. Every single thing. 27 character cards. Like, I don't need to read every character card, and I definitely can't read them there, but make me be able to read one and then have 27 like furled out behind it to where I can't read any of them, but at least give me an idea of what's on a character card. Like, I don't have a clue. I have no idea what any of these components are. This is images from Tabletop Simulator. 27 identity cards. Like, I just don't think they should have this like this. They need a graphic designer to come in and redo this. They just do. I can't. It's just not helping them convert, in my opinion. It's like a lot of information on a page that I think should be twice as long because everything is too small to actually help them. So it's a lot of information that I can't access. I might be too hard on them because I am excited about this game and their quotes are incredible. I think that's why I'm frustrated. It's like, I really want to be all about this game and promoting it everywhere. And the page is just holding me back when I think the game isn't. Yeah. There's 27 characters. Robert, are you for real? It says 27 character cards. How many minis are in that add-on? 27. So in the numbers, it shows that, but why isn't that all over the page? Why aren't there 27 characters broken out right here? Like, it's just like, or at least a thing that says this is just a sample. Like, this is a sample of 4 of the characters, but there are 23 other characters that you get to check out later on. Like, it just is completely limiting here. Like, yeah. There are actually even more characters than that. Yeah, what the heck? Okay, Nicholas is saying the heavy cardboard playthrough is what sold me on it. It's a long video, but when it details about the game and fun watch as well. I really like Edward. I think if he likes the game, then I'm going to like the game. I tend to like things that he likes. So I'm going to have to go watch that. I'm going to have to go watch it. Felix, I think their page should be simplified. The fact that it's kind of Among Us gameplay got me hooked, but I couldn't really figure out when I looked at the page. Yeah, I'm with you. I think simplified, and I'm kind of like half and half. I'm like, yes, it needs to be simplified. It needs to be like made bigger. Like, every section needs to be less and bigger. But then I also want the page to be twice as long. So maybe that's not simplified, but I just want it to be more accessible. Components. It's weird that you go from like the what's in the box section to like a component section, which I imagine is also what's in the box. Wood, cardboard. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, this is just like all stuff that should be more explained in gameplay because I don't have a clue what any of these do. It just looks like a lot of things I'm going to need holders for. So it looks kind of complicated. All right. Then we get into the pledge levels. Honestly, I'd have been fine if this is the first time I saw the price. Like, Stationfall base came at $64. MSRP is $69. You're getting a $5 discount. That's not a huge discount. I usually like to see a $10 discount on Kickstarter, especially because shipping is probably going to be more if you're buying it on Kickstarter versus like waiting to get it at retail. So this troubleshooter pledge, it's MSRP of $118. That's better, in my opinion, just because that's a much bigger discount. It's nearly $20. So yeah, I mean, I think most people that are going to back this game are going to be at the $99 level. So let's look at that real fast. All right. So we've got 278 people at the $1 pledge, probably just trying to figure out more about the game. 270 people at the $64 pledge, and 99 or more, 19 backers. What is the difference? Okay, so border. I guess this pledge level is for when this pledge level runs out, which there's only 49 left of 750. They still have many days. I think they will close this one out. I don't actually know how many people. Excuse me. I don't know how many people will back at this level, because this level is the same thing, but with an extra Project X mini. So it's like, oh, I already missed out on that, and that's the same price. I don't know. I feel like that might be a little bit of a mistake. Just like, it's definitely supposed to be like a let's get these 750 people in here, but I don't know. I think that maybe they should have either made this a little cheaper or just left this as a 750 edition, but maybe I'm wrong. All right. Consort, 5 backers, and then Station Chief. So what is in Station Chief? It's an all-in neoprene mat. It's a limited edition of 750. They're gonna pop this too. So they did do a good job. I'm gonna take back what I said. They have done a good job of encouraging people to go for their highest tiers because they have 1,500 there basically, and another 500 in the $1 or more and the $64. So they have converted well. About 75% have been in those higher 2 pledge tiers. But those higher 2 pledge tiers are almost out, right? They got 89 left on their top and 49 left on their 99. I just don't see that many people going for the level below that when it's not a limited edition anymore. I think you're shooting yourself in the foot just slightly there. But that being said, if they were only going to do about 750 of each of those anyway, it probably is encouraging people to back now versus being left out of that limited edition. So I'm not going to comment on one way or another that is good or a bad idea. I think that's kind of up in the air, and it just kind of depends on the situation. Yeah. Robert says, after learning more about how the game is played, I feel like the minis might get in the way. I'm gonna have to watch the heavy cardboard episode. Did they play with the minis, or did they have some kind of temporary thing for that, or like standees or something? All right, videos. I am so glad they posted this video before my show because that was one of my main complaints. When I looked at this last night, it said video coming soon, and it had like a heavy cardboard section. I was like, just don't put it there until the video's live or that you can access it, because I'm just kind of like frustrated that I can't watch it. I'm not gonna have to go navigate somewhere else to look at it. Like just wait to put up a section, in my opinion, until you actually have it. Because it feels like the page was incomplete. It just didn't. It was not a good feeling when I was like, they're just not. It was like they're not prepared for this to be live feeling versus more exciting content coming feeling. But I'm glad they got that up quickly. I think they could have done with more external verification. I'm going to talk about that in a second. In the comment section, they were talking about the insert, and it said that they were not sure about an insert, but that they were definitely at least going to do baggies. And I get inserts are very expensive. You have to design them. You have to do a mold for them. And with something with this many components, it's really, really hard. I think having like a $129 limited edition version, I would expect an insert to come with that, just because that is a premium game at that point. So yeah, I think that I would be expecting that, and it's not quite there. Did they do enough to encourage backing? I think the game is enough to encourage backing. Everything I've seen about the game has been positive. But this is a quote from the comment section from a deleted comment. Sorry guys, the game looks amazing, but I don't get a real idea of what it is exactly about. It seems there's a lot of information missing, yet I never saw a game that had so much backer on the one hand, but is so less informative on the other hand. So he's saying it has a lot of backers, but it's not a great page. Is basically what he's saying. For example, the intro videos shows just a ship entering the Earth's atmosphere and a flying ape. No explanation or comments. What is that? Can you give me a rough information about what the game is exactly? I just assume it's about the intrigues in the ship, but that is more of an assumption. Please give us more information. The game seems to be great, but I really don't get an idea of its content. So that's a comment section. That's not coming from me. That's just a comment that person stopped. They must have pledged $1 and then deleted it or whatever. But I do agree that there is not enough explanation on the page, and there's not enough external verification. That was before the heavy cardboard video that I said there was not enough external verification. I think that is going to help them greatly, but I would love to see 1 or 2 or 3 more of these, right? Where you've got other people in the industry playing this game and posting their playthroughs, or at least just doing a preview and saying, we played it and this is what we thought. 1 or 2 videos isn't quite enough for me. Yeah. All right. They have a shipping section. It's okay. It's not terrible. It's got a very large piece up here that's basically just, I think this is important. I think we could do this better in our pages, where it's just like helping first time backers, where it's like, you haven't paid shipping yet. Shipping's going to be paid later, and this is how you do it. So I think they did good. That they also have a Essen Spiel pickup in October of next year, which is also great. We'll probably do that. Yeah, you can also pick it up from Stockholm. So if you want to go on a Europe trip, go for it. Yeah. Robert says they played on TTS, no minis, just what comes with the base game. Got it. I'm not quite sure there is a physical copy of this game then. I'd be curious if this is a physical copy. I'm not going to look at it right now, just because they actually have like photos from TTS. So it might just be that they were like, there's a pandemic on, we're not going to do a physical copy because that's a big expense. But I think that has hurt them in the page because there's just not enough visuals of what it is, in my opinion. Okay. Advice to them, I would, just kind of try to flesh out the page, make it longer. I've kind of gone through that, and try to do a playthrough with a hot creator before the end of their campaign, because it is 5 days left. So you're running right up against the marker there. I think that would help convert their 278 $1 backers. So yeah, that is my thoughts on Stationfall. All right, Agents of Smersh. Disclaimer, I didn't play the first game. This is before I got into the hobby, past a level of Catan. It's doing really well. It's got 8 days left. It's got over 200K. There's some things I really like about this game, some things I'm really excited about. So I'm going to just jump in. But first, holy goodness, 20 created, 275 backed. Just seeing that, I was obviously taking a close look at the page anyway, but would make me take a closer look at the page because I'm like, these people know what Kickstarter's about, right? They have done this. They've seen it done many, many times. So thank you to Everything Epic for promoting and investing in the community so much. That's a huge number. They're in New York, and I usually don't like what's in the box headers here. I'm going to change my mind for this one. Thank you, Ilya, for helping me select a random comment. That's amazing. I will definitely use that. All right, so this header, usually I want to see more art, right? Like I'm all about like an art that goes down into explanation, that then goes down into a gameplay section, and then a what's in the box section. I'm fine with the small what's in the box section above gameplay as long as it's not like this is the detailed breakdown that's going to take like 3 scrolls to get to gameplay. But this one I actually like, and I'll tell you what. The box has a good amount of art, and this is a stylized look at what's in the box. Like you're not seeing every single thing in a way that's supposed to like give you an idea of what's in the box. This is just a good like, hey, these are some of the components. And it also features one of their bigger pushes, which is these they're foldable layered cardboard where it's got like you fold it up and then you insert like a card in there for your agent, and then you fold it back down. And it's like a way to have like a double layered board on a bunch of different cards, which I think is really smart. It's probably not the first time it's been done, but I think it's really smart. So I really like that. It's laid out. It's enough to be visible. It's good. Product description. They get into a little bit of what makes it different to the people that have already played this game, may already own this game. So I like that. But it also gives you a little bit of the story. You're searching for this Dr. Lobo character. And so I like that. It also kind of jumps into this includes over 2,000 narrative story encounters, which is good. I think that might need to be a breakout section, like a bigger thing where we're going to talk about it. The most epic narrative storytelling game of all time. That is a really big claim. I think maybe it's a play on their Everything Epic name. But it is quite a boast. I think since they're making that boast, they need to expound upon that in a separate section. They may do that later in the page. We'll look at that. And then I just don't like this. This is like auto-filled like Microsoft Word when you like add a picture and it like makes your bullet points all wonky. It just doesn't look good. These dots aren't lined up with each other perfectly. It kind of has like a slope. Like it's just from a design perspective, I really don't like this. I wish that this was on the other side. It's just like a pet peeve thing. It's not a big deal. It's not going to ruin the page. It's just design pet peeve there. So yeah. All right. Why back this project? This is great, right? That is pretty near the top and super important. Epic Edition takes Agents of Smersh to a whole new level by focusing on the most epic part of the game, the story. So there we go. We're starting to build out a little bit on this 2,000 narrative story encounters. So they have a little bit about that, thousands of unique encounters. And it kind of builds into what's great about it. It gives you the first peek at these metal dice too, which, you know, I'm a fan of metal dice, so all about that. All right, now we get the what's in the box section. I think this is good. Same complaint where you can't quite read what's this is all about, but it does give you a really good look at this folding overlay board, and then the other components are more than big enough to see. And so I think that's really good. Then it has the breakdowns. It has an Epic Edition and an Epic Collector's Edition, not at retail, so you got a little bit of FOMO there, which is good. So yeah, I'm pumped about that. I think their mat looks awesome. Just from like other mats I've seen, I really like the colors on it, and it fits with their game. Yeah, I wish they had a physical prototype version of these metal dice, but I mean, it's pandemic; it's hard to do that. I'm gonna reload this page. There's a big white gap here, and I don't know why. I've had this open since last night, so that might be on me. Yeah, okay, we got stretch goals there. So that's probably been updated since last night, which is why that's like that. They just have a bunch of new spies and some new cards. I think this is good. It's not going to sink the ship. I talk a lot about stretch goals and how, if done incorrectly, can really ruin a campaign from a production standpoint, a timeline standpoint, and just like a company, like future of the company standpoint. I don't see anything here that's like making me think that that's going to happen. So I think this is well done. Preview and reviews. Shipping section looks great. I want to go back up to the gameplay because they had a gameplay section that had some GIF in it. Where did I see that? Core components, pledge levels, stretch goals. Huh. Maybe I'm thinking of the how to play with GIFs. Sections could be a little bit bigger, but I like it. That's what I had in my notes, and I don't see that on the page. So either it's not loading or they changed it. Maybe I was talking about this section. I like this. It's intriguing. Okay, cool. I'm going to skip that note. All right. So one of my biggest concerns is, again, external verification, right? And I'm going to skip that for a second because I want to talk about the accolades. This is a very known game for people that have been in the industry for a long time. This was a very popular game when it came out. People were really excited about it. It did very well. Where are the accolades for it? Like, if I didn't already know about the game, it says updated art, fully edited up here, but like there is nothing to tell me that this is a new version if this is my first time looking at this. Like, I would love to get on this page, get through this section, and then have like 3 or 4 big quotes and maybe like a review with like a 10 out of 10 or whatever of like, this is an evolution of the first game, right? Like, we are building on the accolades that we have from the first game. So I'm missing that. I really want that to be there because I think that would really just sell people that are coming in for the first time. You're like, oh, I missed out on this 8 years ago because, I was in high school, or I was, a poor college student, or I just wasn't in the industry. And now you're seeing how well liked it was. And now you have this awesome new version. I think that is really missing. If they had that, I wouldn't care about as much the external verification, because you won't need the external verification of influencers if you already have 10,000 people have played this game and loved it. That's the external verification, right? You don't need an influencer, in my opinion. Sorry, influencers. In that case, as much, I still would do it. But there's just not external verification on this page. You've got a Rob Oren preview and a one-stop co-op shop preview. So 2 things, 2 videos, and I think that is it. And I would love to just have more than that somehow. Kickstarter preview rule book, so you can look at the rules. I do not believe there is a play this now, which makes sense. It's a lot of story-driven stuff, campaign stuff. They probably don't want spoilers and a bunch of other stuff to come out from that. They've got all their other products here, so I'm assuming that you'll be able to get these in the Pledge Manager, but it also doesn't say that. So maybe they're just building on this. Yeah, hard to tell. Shipping section's good. No, friendly shipping means that you will not have to pay VAT tax to your local post in order to receive your games. However, you may still be charged VAT in the Pledge Manager because in some locations it is now required by law. This is great. This is so small, but it's so good. This is what I'm missing from half or maybe more than half of the campaigns we've looked at on this show. People keep saying VAT's included. That's yeah, it's not equitable across your backers. It's just not. It's so expensive. I think it's going to be a mistake that a bunch of companies regret later on. It's something that we regret even how we've handled it in the past, and are trying to learn from. So yeah, I love this. They definitely knew what they were doing with this, and I'm surprised because they're in New York. Most of the companies, they're in New York. Yep, they're in New York. I'm surprised because most of the companies that have known what to do with that are not in New York. They're in the EU or the UK because they're having to learn about it faster, right? But they did a really, really good job here. I'm really pumped for them that they handled that. I'm excited about the game. I think the way they showed what's in the different pledge levels is good. The way they sold the story is good. The folding overlay boards sold me. I really like the metal dice. I think that they're interesting. The spy mechanic is really cool. They've got the Illuminati triangles there. It's got a lot of cool things going for it. But I just wish there was more external verification is my biggest thing. So where are the accolades? Where are the quotes? Because there's not any quotes either, which is very surprising for a Kickstarter page. Where are the videos of hot influencers telling us how good this game is? Or maybe not how good this game is. But if it's not how good this game is, you probably shouldn't put it on your page. So touche. Yeah, it's an expensive game. If you're going to spend, $100 or more, you need that external verification. They have converted quite a few people at the $100 version, which when you're at $100, that's great. Like, you don't need to be complaining that you don't have quite as many at the $160 version, but it is almost half. It's not quite half. It's about 200 less. But that's not bad. They're doing about almost 50% of, it's probably like 40% of their backers going to this highest level. So that's good conversion. The best conversion is when everyone's backing at that highest level. But on $100, you're already at a pretty premium level. So I think that's not terrible. Yeah, it's $60 more to jump from that to the $160 Epic Collector's Edition. And you get the playmat, the metal dice, the art prints, the gold foil in the box. Yeah. I'm thinking to go to that $160. What really would have pushed people there is maybe minis, because you have a lot of these standees. And I'm just looking at the standee, and it's got a lot of negative white space around it. It's just very cardboard heavy, right? It's white cardboard just all over the place. I think that a mini would be very expensive, and I'm against just adding minis to a campaign for the exclusive edition, and it's going to cost you, $5,000 to $10,000 in molds, and then you have all this other stuff. They have a ton of different characters, so that's even more molds. So maybe that's ridiculous, and it's just out of the question. But I just don't. Epic Collector's Edition with cardboard standees doesn't really jibe with me. So why aren't they sending a copy to Austin to preview the hottest looking floors? Hilarious. First off, I don't have time to play anyone else's games because we're playtesting ours so much. And second, they should never, ever, no one should send me a copy of their game, because I am not the person you want to look at it. I probably would like it because I love most games, but I will not be able to explain well enough to a large audience about all the different, mechanics and all the different stuff in a way that is presenting it not as you should buy this game. It's like, these are the things that if you're into, you should back this. And I think that Alex does that really well. I think that Jesse does that well. I think Before You Play does that really well. Dice Tower does that really well. Mark Streed, love you, Mark. There's just so many people already doing such a good job at that I don't want to add to that noise when I already respect so many people doing that. And I know you were joking, Aaron, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Hottest of influence. Maybe you're just talking about my appearance, not my popularity. Who knows? Successful Geek, happy Tuesday. Daniel, what do you think of acrylic standees? I don't mind them. I think that's a big improvement on cardboard. And maybe these are acrylic. I don't think so, though. Let's look at what's in the Epic Collector's Edition. No, it doesn't say anything about standees anywhere except for core spy standees. So 10 spy standees. 10 minis is not that much. It is about what we did for Veiled Fate. Minis are expensive. I'm not going to lie to them and say, yeah, you should do minis. It'll make sense financially. Just figure it out, because there's definitely a chance it doesn't. I just wish it did. Just wish it did. Okay. What kind of bums are you, Ian? I'm seeing you on a little bit of delay, so I'm not quite sure what you're responding to. Let me know. Okay. Got 8 days left. Get some influencers in here. Do a page update with quotes and accolades from your past game, talking about how great it was, or do quotes on this version if you've had it play tested. I hope you have externally. But yeah, I think that this is doing very well. It looks fun. The game looks good. They've presented it in a pretty good way. It's just missing those 2 things for me: quotes and some more influencers. I think to externally verify that it's a good game. So yeah, that's not bad. I'm excited about it. 214,000. They could easily hit 300K, pretty easily. Vivid Memories. They added a bunch more standees in the stretch goals. They added a bunch more. Go back. Did they? Because it says core spy standees 6 plus 4 KS exclusives. Is the KS exclusive these? Or these? Because it does say Kickstarter exclusive there. I don't know, Ian. You might be right. I don't know how many they have. Based on a new spy. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's more than 4. It's more than 4. Okay, so that is a lot. I can see it then. It's more than 4. So maybe 15, 20 minis, and you start getting real expensive. You have to have storage solutions then. The box gets bigger. It's a nightmare. Ian says, I wish they could make minis, even if it was a separate add-on pack for 30 and 40. It would be far better, in my opinion. Ian, I'm with you there. I think at this scale, they risk losing money on that investment. I agree. I'm not saying you're wrong, because I 100% want it too. But if you do an add-on pack and you spend $5,000 to $10,000 on the molds, and then you have to print a minimum order of 1,500, 2,500, then you're, gosh, I don't know. You have to do the sculpts, so you're somewhere around 50 grand at that point. So that's a lot to make up. It's just a lot to make up. 50 grand might be too much, but yeah. Yep. Sculpts are expensive. Molds are expensive. Per unit is expensive on minis. Okay. Vivid Memories. Oops. All right. Alex covered this game, and I'm glad I watched it because I was worried it was too light, and he actually told me it wasn't. This is one of those that I'm like looking at the page, and I'm like, how is this not funding higher? But before we jump into that, hey, Alex, literally came just in time for me to say I'm glad I watched your video on this. 14 created, 327 backed. It's not even a company. It's Ben Harkins himself. Ben, you are a legend, and thank you for supporting the community so much. That's incredible. Sagrada, right? That's him. Gonna check. He's had quite a few designs at this point. Oh, Holly. Wow. Okay, yeah. So Holly and Sagrada. So big names he's had in his past. So definitely an established person. I love the art style, personally. I think it looks great. I love this elephant. I think it's very compelling. It's got elephants and hot air balloons. What more could you want? Yeah. All right. Real fast before we jump into Vivid, going back to Agents of Smersh. Not very engaging minis, so is it really worth it? I don't think so. For this game, I think standees work, in my opinion. I'm still on the fence, though. Grinning Inside. I agree. I don't think it needed minis to be functional or to be a good game. It was just interesting to have a $160 level pledge that had cardboard cutouts as the main thing you're interacting with, because that's a pretty premium cost for me. And so I think this moving around piece of cardboard at $160, I wish it was something else, acrylic or just something a little bit higher quality at an $160 level. Those are my thoughts. Oh, is it pronounced holy? Okay, I messed that up. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. It's pronounced holy, not holly. And that makes sense. It's not even spelled holly, is it? Like holly is Holly. Anyway. Okay. Into Vivid Memories. Elephants, hot air balloons, and some kind of awesome looking bird. You got these amazing double layered boards right at the top. I'm a big fan of a lot of the beginning of this page. I actually don't know if you could do it better, in my opinion, because Ben has so many backed. He's got a good amount of created along with some really big names. He's got this interesting, tile drafting game, collecting, connecting memories. Tile drafting, I instantly think of course, Azul, which is a game that I really enjoy. And then every stick is a sword, every bike is a steed, every moment is an opportunity. And I'm like, what the heck does that mean? This is like a poem, and I'm intrigued already. And there are people that might be like, that's too abstract for me. Like, I'm not interested because of that, but that pulls me in. I like that. So that's an either or. It's an up to you kind of thing. Wonderful header image. Got some FOMO right here. This deluxe version of Vivid Memories will not be sold through distribution. Don't miss out. Just to clarify, will not be sold through distribution does not mean it is exclusive to Kickstarter. I think Moonrakers has not been sold through distribution, but the Kickstarter exclusive edition was Kickstarter exclusive. We have people all the time say, hey, I just really want the Kickstarter exclusive edition. Can you guys just sell us that? Can you sell it at a con? Can you sell it somewhere else? And we made a promise on that first campaign that we would never do it again. And I have over 200 Kickstarter exclusive versions that we do giveaways and charity auctions with, and that's about it. We won't sell it again. But this is saying they'll sell it on their websites. They'll, they can still do that. It's keeping their options open. I still think it's a bit of FOMO because it'll be much harder to get, and it's not like you'll be able to get this down the line at retail. This deluxe version will not be at retail for $30 off in the future because it's going to be their website. They can just sit it there. I think it'll be more expensive later. So it still has some FOMO. I think it's really good. 2 to 4 players, 30 to 60 minutes, ages 13 plus. Don't do that. Don't do ages 13 plus. I don't understand that. Ages 14 plus is the same thing, but you have less regulatory stuff. Like, maybe I'm wrong and they lowered that, but I'm almost positive 14 plus is the cutoff. Like, 13 is including 13 and over, whereas 14 is obviously not 13. And I think at 13, you still have to have a bunch of different protections for kids and stuff on it. I don't know. I think that's a mistake just from a regulatory side of things. Maybe their production partner is telling them different, but every production partner I've talked to is like, if you don't want to go through a bunch of testing and the game is not for kids, then make it 14 plus. So I'm confused by that. That's one of the first times I've seen 13 plus ever. All right. Grinning Inside, I agree 100% with you. I'm assuming we're talking about the standees to minis. Felix, I want it really bad. If we're talking about Vivid Memories, me too. I'm going to talk about why, because I have a long what I like about section. Vivid Memories blows Azul out of the water. Richard Ham, Rotto runs through. This is how you do a quote, people. Remember I talk about this quote? It's a really good quote. They need to put this higher. They need to have some kind of visual hierarchy, something to draw attention to this. Look at all of the attention drawn to this. It's wonderful, in my opinion. Now, I don't love the crown graphic. It's not like, oh, I look at that, I'm like, this is wonderful. But it made me look at that. And that's what you need when you have a quote this good, right? You need that. You need to want to look at this. So cheers there. Great quote from Rado. Ben, congrats. What's in the box? $50 deluxe edition. $50 is not a huge cost. So that's a nice price point. They really had to take their time explaining the retailer pledge level because it looks like, oh, like it's $30 a game for retailers. And it might very well be that, but you should not reveal your retailer cost in the page. And I don't actually think they're doing that. It says this is a credit toward a minimum of 6 copies, 1 case of Vivid Memories, Deluxe Edition. But I would have priced it differently, and here's why. People will just look at that and be like, cool, retailers pay 30, we pay 50. That's bullcrap. Whereas actually retailers are probably paying 25, maybe more than that. But my guess is 25. And you just don't want to deal with those comments. Those people usually don't understand how the industry works. They don't understand how retailing works. But it's just a conversation you want to have. We had this for Moonrakers. We had a $100 retailer pledge, and it was a $100 deposit on 4 games, which was $25 a game. And people were like, we did the math and you're only charging retailers $25 and you're charging us $65. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, obviously your costs are pretty low because $25 is less than 50% of $65. I'm like, that's not how that works. That's a deposit on that. And so we messed up. It wasn't the backers. We messed up in our framing of the retailer pledge. And I think they've done the same thing here. So that's just a pet peeve of mine. They've done a very good job of explaining it, where if you took the time to read, this is a credit toward a minimum. We didn't do that on Moonrakers, and that's what really kicked us. But I just would have had it be $50 or $100 because it doesn't matter to a retailer necessarily as long as it's under $100, in my opinion. Maybe a retailer will get on here and disagree with me. Cool. All right. what's in the box? This is a good what's in the box, in my opinion. You've got a look at the cards. You've got to look at these double layered boards with this wonderful, wonderful graphic pop out here that shows you how the pieces nest into the board. Like, if I was just looking at this and be like, this is just a honeycomb pattern, but when it's broken out like this, I can see the 3D nature of it. I can see what I'm supposed to do with it. So really pumped about that. Deluxe Direct Exclusive, Deluxe Playmat fits inside the box. All right, so we're going to see some things here. Limited Exclusive, Deluxe Direct Exclusive, Deluxe Direct Exclusive, Deluxe Direct Exclusive, and I don't like how they've done this. This is going to be one of the few negatives I have. I want to see concisely, very much like Hidden Leaders, how they did it in their update. What am I getting in the deluxe versus the retail, right? Because that's going to impact whether I wait on this game or not. Because I don't want to invest $50 now that I can invest $50 a year from now at retail unless there is something really big that I'm getting. And I think there is. That playmat, some limited exclusive cards, which this one is Star Wars themed. It's got like a freaking Rancor and a Jedi there. That makes me excited to back this game, obviously, because you know how big of a Star Wars nerd I am. It's got this special bag. So, like, for me, I'm like, there is enough here, but I have to really look through the page to find it. Like, it took me a while to parse through what all I'm getting. So I wish they had a better breakdown of this is what is now versus later. Yep. All right. Another really good time where they explain what the $30 payment is. I just wish it wasn't $30. I think that's my only complaint. I think they did a great job of explaining that it's not $30. I just wish it was $50 so people weren't like doing the math in their head like, oh, it's way cheaper for retailers. It's just smoke and mirrors stuff, just like stretch goals. The how to play section is also one of the better how to play sections I've ever seen. It has this wonderful video. We do that as well, where we put a how to play section with a video. If you're into videos, if you're not into videos, you go down, you have these GIFs, right? And you kind of have the flow of the game here coming down. And I think that is wonderful. They have another quote here. You have something from Sarah Shaw doing a 60 seconds look at it. First look, we got Rahdo again, and another quote from Rahdo. We have an All Shucks preview. We've got a Board Game Geek, and it's Meeple Mountain, which I love Meeple Mountain. Go Tennessee, go Nashville. You got Tantrum House. Like, they did a really good job. Alex. Hi, Alex. And then Meet the Team. A really cool Meet the Team section. You got this Purple Dragon. You've got a really good look at all of the people who invested in this. And then just really nice designed shipping section. I think it's interesting. They have a 3 copies max because they have a 6 copy box, but that's fine. It's not a huge deal. While remaining fiscally responsible, we've included a discount on all shipping and taxes, but there is no free shipping. Makes sense. I don't see anything about that. And that makes me sad. I think that's a misstep. Where are they? It depends on where they are. Yeah, they're in the US. I think they need a section on VAT here because it's such a big problem. 20% of 50 is $10. That's probably your profit margin. So if you're suddenly having to pay $10 per game, I mean, that's sink or swim money right there on a $50 game. So it just makes me worried about how they're going to handle that in the future. And that's all I'll say about it. All right. Well, let's go back up here because I have some more to talk about. I wish the how to play was higher, or like 60 seconds with Sarah Shaw higher, but it's a short page, so it's not a huge deal. But it does have a long what's in the box section before any gameplay. I think without this quote from Rahdo, that would be worse, right? But it has, yeah, I'm a gameplay above what's in the box person. Other people are different. The theory is that people want to see what's in the box and compare that to the price, right? And you want to have that high on the page because you want to be able to have people make that judgment early. But I think making that judgment without knowing how the components are used is not in your favor as a developer. I think you want to know how you're using those components. Because if you have minis and you barely use them, there have been a lot of complaints on games where it's like they just tacked minis onto this and you didn't need minis to play it. And I think just having that higher helps set the stage and set that process of going through the decision of, am I going to back this or not? And I think gameplay should be higher. That's my 2 cents. I could be wrong. Yeah, and the gameplay section is really good, but it looks disjointed. What I mean by that is every one of these sections looks like its own section versus a fluid how to play section. Like this looks like its own content block. This looks like its own content block. And it's because they are their own content blocks, but like I wish there was some kind of header that was still how to play or something like that. It's not a huge deal. I'm at pet peeves level on this because I really like this campaign page. They don't talk about the retail version, and I already kind of talked about that, how I want the comparison of retail to the exclusive edition or whatever they're calling the deluxe edition. And then no mention of that, like I said. All right. So talked about how this is one of the pages that I have liked the most in my entire time covering this. Why is it only at 63,000? If I'm telling you that this is a really good page, why is it only at 63,000? Especially from someone that's got established games like Holy and Sagrada. So then there's probably things outside of the page, right, going on. And that's advertising, and that is driving more people to the page. If the page is great, theoretically, and converting, and you have these quotes talking about how this is better than Azul. Azul is one of the best-selling games of all time. Like, it's in every Walmart and Target and Barnes & Noble section, probably. I'm assuming it is. At least it has been at some point. And so if we have that here, it's blowing Azul out of the water, we got to take a step back. And I'm sure Alex would say, and me and Alex just had a conversation, oh, it's in the fact for retail versus deluxe. Thanks, Alex. Let me look at this. But like, that's my complaint, is like, that should be on the page. So the fact doesn't help me. Who looks at the fact? Not me, apparently. I mean, we do an FAQ for our games, or at least we did on Moonrakers. I think we did on Veiled Fate. Anyway, so I'm a retailer. What about me? What's the difference between deluxe version and real retail? Playmat. Start player mini. Upgraded and boarded token bag. May the fourth be with you. Alternate promo art. Yeah, okay. It's here. It's just, that should be on the page, in my opinion. If it's an FAQ, it might be something worth putting on the page. But thank you, Alex. That's really great. Thank you for telling me that. Cool. Yeah, Ian, I was saying, like, individuals, just from a shipping standpoint, like, why not let people buy 6 games at $50? Especially because you're selling them to retailers at a discount in packages of 6. You wouldn't be able to bag at retail unless you're a retailer. They check that out. We check that out. We don't sell them to people that don't have brick and mortar stores, is what we call it. Felix, I think the quality of the videos really makes IV Games unique, and I wonder if that comes from their animation studio background. Definitely. Yeah. Thank you for saying that, Felix. Very kind of you. Cool. All right. So, yeah, advice. I don't know the back end. I don't know how their ads are doing. I don't know how much they're spending on ads. I feel like this missed out on an excitement factor ahead of time. Like, there wasn't enough build to make this fund in a huge way. First day funded, yes, but the funding goal was only $25,000 on a $50 game. That's not that hard to hit, right? I mean, I say that it is very hard to fund a Kickstarter. I take that back. It is not that hard to hit $25,000 when you've already done $63,000. Is what I was saying. So it was a low funding goal compared to where they're at now. I just, yeah, it's hard without knowing more information. It's hard. I think they might be a little bit disappointed where things are at because there's only 2 updates, and this is just conjecture on my part. But if I have a really exciting thing that I'm doing, I'm updating it all the time. We don't do too many updates with Veiled Fate. It's not like come on where you get one every hour. Gosh, come on, cool it on those. They have to do it for the stretch goals. I understand. But like update 2 was May 6th. That's 5 days ago at this point. And that was on day 3. They had a pretty similar backer number there. They've got 1,200 backers now. They had 1,000 backers 5 days ago. So yeah, I just feel like there's not been the excitement to kind of carry them through this, and I think that might be from like a just not having to push the initial really excited push at the beginning. And that for just to back up, we do not most of our advertising. Our advertising is most effective before the Kickstarter campaign launches. And there's a lot of advice out there from very big companies that say don't run ads until your Kickstarter campaign is live, because then you can actually convert, right? If you're going to make an ad, if you're going to have a Facebook ad and someone clicks on it, you want them to be able to buy the product. And that makes sense. However, in our experience, having that excitement built up ahead of time is what makes our campaign successful. And it's worth it from that standpoint. And from a conversion standpoint is a lot better before the campaign, because people want to find something versus being sold to. And it's a weird thing when you're running ads. But if you think if someone thinks that they've discovered something before their friends and they could be the number one backer and there's some kind of reward for backing it on that first day, then you have so much more driving that person to be wanting to be a part of something cool and making them feel a part of something cool. And I think that might be the issue here, because Ben supports the community, has developed some incredible games, and has developed an insanely good page here. So, and there's plenty of people that have looked at it from an influencer standpoint. And so either the game is just not, and this is what I think, Alex, I'd like to hear from you if you're still in the comments. The game is just not something that is built to do extremely well on Kickstarter, right? If that's the case, it's a little bit abstract games don't necessarily do as well, and it doesn't have minis and it doesn't have all this other stuff. The stuff that feels like it does really well on Kickstarter. So maybe that's one of the issues, but I also just think that it hasn't had enough traffic, it hasn't had enough ads, it hasn't had enough excitement from a pre-build on it. And that's all my conjecture. And I say that as a huge fan of this game. So yeah, it has a good price point. It has a good page. It hasn't been updated in a while. I think there might be some disappointment there, but I can't, it's hard to tell. I really like the page. I think it's really, really good. Cool. They're pretty responsive, very responsive in the comment section. So that's good too. All right. Those are my 3 that I was covering today. We're trying not to go wildly over, which I already am. How am I at an hour and 10 minutes? It's just me talking. I feel like it's been 20 minutes. All right. Alex is hitting me here with some knowledge. I think there's a few issues. Extras aren't worth compared to the $30 at retail. Is it $30 at retail? You might have saw that in the FAQ. I want to look at that. If it is $30 at retail, I'm with you. $20 is a lot for the mat and a first player token, basically. And a bag. I don't care about the bag. Game is hard to understand at a glance. Looks cool, but very abstract. I'm with you there. Abstract games are hard to sell. Thanks, Ian. Love you too, bud. Yeah, I'm with you. That's the estimated retail based on its MSRP. Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like this should be funding way better. I can't put my finger on it, but I love this page. And maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe I'm not as knowledgeable as Kickstarter as I think I am, and you shouldn't be watching the show. But I think I'm right. I think this is a really good page. It's a really good page. I mean, I have some concerns with it, but it's a really good page. All right. Yeah, Alex is with me. All that said, I would have expected it to be higher. Same. It just feels good. It isn't on my KS front page. Aaron, don't get me started on Kickstarter front page, man. It's all a numbers game. It's the weirdest thing. Yeah. I've been frustrated in the past with the Kickstarter page, but that's from a publisher standpoint and all just me being sad. All right. Cool. Yeah, Ian, you're right. If there are a lot of people backing it from retailers, then there's a lot of hidden benefit there. There's a lot of hidden numbers there for sure, because that's more 180. Totally. All right. Some people wanted me to do a live look again, and I was curious. Did you like that last week? Because I didn't prepare, so I made some mistakes. Like looking at ICE afterward, I saw some things that I should have commented on, and I didn't because I was just put on the spot. If you want me to do a live look, I think how do you say that? Hoplomachus? How do you say that? What the heck? Hoplomachus. launched while we've been on this stream. This was the bad way to do this. It's Tuesday. Hoplomachus Victorum and Mosaic launched. Oh, shoot. Holy goodness. Hoplomachus is already at 400K or 340K. Wow. Castle Panic, 100K. Man, these all just launched. All right. Yes or no? Yes or no on doing a live look at Hoplomachus. I can do either way. I'm not saying it right, but that's what you get. While you were doing that, there is a giveaway today, and I forgot to talk about it. So we're going to do another Kickstarter exclusive edition, and I want it to... I was going to say like new Studio Who Dis, because I obviously have a new setup behind me. But if you just want to talk about... I should have prepared this ahead of time. Today's been a rough day as far as preparation on the giveaways. Anyway. Let's do purple. You have to say something with the word purple in it in the comments section. And then next week, I'll do another giveaway where we give away a Kickstarter exclusive edition on the stream. You can be anywhere in the world. If it's in the EU and the UK, I'm going to have to finagle how we get it to you just because of VAT laws, but we'll figure it out. And then finally, just as a recap, if you're a creator or if you know a creator that you'd like to have us look at the page before it goes live or right after it goes live and talk to them on stream, I'd love to do that. I think that'd be really fun. Hop La Mock Is. Thanks, Alex. Gosh, I'm so glad you watched this. I don't know why you watch it, but I'm very, very pleased that you do. All right, let's do it. Victorum. I'm just going to call it Victorum because that's what they have big. And I think that's their solo mode, if I'm not wrong. Josh and Adam Carlson, Chip Theory Games. Chip Theory Games should be something you're very familiar with. 80 backed, that's great. Right away, I'm happy, guys. Why am I happy? Wow. Okay, 1,200 people, 344,000. This is going to be an expensive game. Look at that art. Oh, goodness. I just don't know why everyone doesn't do this. One, it's probably expensive, but you make art for the board game. You have tons of art sitting around. Plop it on here. Like, look how good that looks. Like, not only am I intrigued because it's got a Colosseum, right? I'm like, instantly like, cool, it's Rome. And I'm like, that's not a real animal. Like, that's a fake animal. So this isn't just Rome. We've got some kind of fun, crazy stuff. This is like a whip with like a... What's that dinosaur that has a spike ball tail? That's what it looks like to me. Like, this is wild looking. Like, there's so much to unpack here. One player, ages 13 and up. This must have changed, guys. Why is that not 14 plus? It must have changed. They must have taken it from 14 to 13 because like everyone I've talked to has been like 14 plus. Weird. Interesting. All right. I'm going to have to email Panda about that and be like, hey, can we put 13 on our games now? Because that's great. And maybe that's just like a safety thing. I don't know. All right. Victorum. Cool. Not really what's in the box section. It's more just like a board layout section. I like that. This looks like it might be TTS, though, so I like that less, but maybe it's not. It's hard to say. The year is 79 AD. Mount Vesuvius. So it kind of is based in reality, and then we got Pluto, god of the underworld. So it definitely is a crossover between mythology and reality. All right, so, okay. Let's just unpack this front. 100 out of 100 on this opening section, right? Like, it's got the artwork I want, it's got some look at the components, and it's got the story that I want. So yeah, I'm 100% so far. This is great. What's in the box? You know me, I'd want gameplay here because it already has a little bit of what's in the box here to entice you to keep looking. I want gameplay here, not what's in the box, but everybody does this, right? Like, it's not the end of the world. A lot of times, I think in Moonrakers and Veiled Fate, we didn't do a gameplay section here. We did 120 seconds. Like, this is the gameplay in 120 seconds, which people a lot of times scroll past videos. So maybe I need to start drinking my own Kool-Aid there, but I just want it higher. I want gameplay higher here. Yeah, Aaron, I'm right there with you. Another 13 plus. Am I wrong? I'm going to have to talk to somebody because that might have changed. Chris, I have no idea. Is it a whip or is it a dude's arm? Yeah, no clue. Looks pretty wild. All right. Ian disagrees with me. Ian says, I like seeing what I'm getting right up front and then gameplay next. I don't think that's bad. I think it's a personal preference thing. I'm just going to keep commenting on it, though. I think I want to be sold on the gameplay and then compare the components to the price instead of comparing the components to the price and then looking at the gameplay. Like, you're not buying the game for the components. People look at it that way on Kickstarter, but like, you don't care about the components if the game sucks, right? Like, you care if the game is good and then you care about the components, in my opinion. Like, I play games with bad components because they're really good games, but I don't play games with good components when they're bad games, right? It's just like, I'm going to take those components and I'm going to use them for something else. That's just me. In other news, indie studio Ivy Games sued for age limitations on games. No comment, but someone named Awesome was in the corner crying, but everyone was doing it. Stay tuned for updates. Oh, goodness. Bad PR for Austin. Yeah. All right. Ian disagrees, and that's fine. There are a lot of people that disagree with me because this is the way that most people do it. And I've said that since the beginning. I am not going to be right about everything. In fact, I am learning along with anyone else looking at these with me. So, all right. Interesting way to do what's in the box. We got this like map thing going on, but it goes off the map here. I don't really get the point of that. It's not bad. It just is a little odd. Neoprene game mat. That's just what's in the box. Is this just like a really exclusive edition? Remastered. Pledge US $650 or more, only limited to 300. Each future base game Chip Theory brings to Kickstarter. What the heck? A copy of each future base game Chip Theory brings to Kickstarter. Why? Why would you wrap up your money when you know you're not going to want the base game of their future games because you're going to want whatever's the Kickstarter exclusive thing? Can you get the other two things before the Hoplomachus Remastered and Victorum? Yeah, that's right here for $255. I don't understand this, guys. Someone's going to have to explain that to me. I do not understand why that's a pledge level. Like, not only is that a bad idea for the backers because it wraps up money in just a base game pledge forever, but as a game company tracking that and then like, oh yeah, remember those 300 backers that we have to give every game forever that we ever make ever again? But just like from a backer standpoint, if that ever got too expansive, they just like close that company and start a new company, and you just miss out on any Chip Theory games because it's not Chip Theory games anymore. What the heck? I don't understand this. Chris Cheney, they don't have KS exclusive games, just KS limited add-ons. I get that, but I guess it's just like a wild investment in the future, but like I also just don't understand why Chip Theory is doing that. That just doesn't make Chip Theory games are waterproof. Okay. Hey, Ian kind of agrees with me. He says this what's in the box section goes on for quite a long time. Yes, it does. That is a very long what's in the box section. I prefer that. I was just talking about that on Stationfall, where it was just like it was too compressed and you couldn't actually see what was in the box. So I prefer this to that, but it's long. That's a pledge for every future game they have. Yeah, I get it. I just don't agree with it from a publisher standpoint. I think that's a weird, like, you're getting money now, but that's just a pain in the butt later. You have to track all that. That's just a logistical nightmare, in my opinion. Not only just that, it's just like you're getting money now, but you're hurting your future campaigns. Do they do this on every campaign? I'm going to have to go back and look at that. Alex is saying hype and buzz. It does boost the funding goal. I guess I'm seeing it now. I don't know. I still wouldn't do it. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. From a publisher standpoint, I wouldn't do it. I get that they're doing hype and buzz and they're really pushing that. I mean, 300 times 600, that's not a small number. I just wouldn't do it. Okay, let's go. Let's keep going. You don't want to be here all day. How to play. Once again, if you're going to do this, just have it be plain text. I get that you want to use your custom fonts, but like from a accessibility standpoint, like either have it be more design than this or have it be just plain text. Yeah, we go from these beautiful design sections, guys. Like, this is beautiful. I love it. It's amazing. And how to play is not important. We're just going to have it white background. It's just going to be white text or black text on white background. It's not important. Like, who cares about how to play? Like, no one cares. We just want to see the stuff. They have a video. That's great. I'm happy they have a video. It's just the like level of importance just drops off for some reason, and I don't get it. It's the most important part. I mean, this is a good gameplay section. It's just they didn't invest in the design for it, and I don't understand why. Yeah, it's not a bad gameplay section as I'm going through it. It's not bad. It outlines things. It has different videos for different things. It has like a turn overview and like a game overview. I think this is a good how to play section. It's just like, why is it black and white? Yeah, and then we go into Scions, and it's suddenly designed again. We have heroes. It's not really designed. I don't know. That's a pet peeve. Pet peeve. It's a fine how to play section. I'm not going to bang on it too much. A lot of good videos and stuff. Pledge levels. They have the hero here. Do they have... They don't even have the $650 level on the pledge level section. So there's no more explanation than that, is there? Nope. What the heck? Premium health, premium chip bag. MSRP of $290, $35 in savings. That's a pretty good chunk of savings. This complete deluxe. Okay. Yeah, I think it's a great campaign. My only complaint so far is the visual sameness of the how to play section, especially after just a really well-designed page. Okay, where's their external verification here? All of this has been Chip Theory Games so far. Did I pass it? Do they have a single external person looking at this on the page? Huh. They also don't have what I'm looking for because I can't say this thing. Hoplomachus base game, remastered game. Where are the accolades for the base game? Where is that foundation of this is an amazing game and now there's a solo mode for it? That's not here. It should be here. It should be right up here. It's not. There's just no quotes talking about the experience of the first game or this game. There's no external reviews or previews on the page. Maybe that they're going to add that as they go, but man, if you have it, add it. There's not a single quote anywhere. Like, this is like a AAA campaign without single A stuff. Double A, single A. I don't know. Taxes and VAT. This campaign will continue the practice that we started last year by offering fixed rate shipping. No matter how much you buy in this campaign, no matter how much it weighs, you will get the same flat affordable rate for your region. I agree. I like that. VAT will be charged. This is a good VAT section, guys. This is a great VAT section. Really, really good tax section here. I love this. United States, Minnesota residents will be charged related sales taxes. You need to do that because they're in Minnesota. United Kingdom, 20%. All of EU, 19%. That'll fluctuate a little bit, but they're going to do that for everybody. That'll all be done in the Pledge Manager. Yeah, we do the customs duties, which is why it says custom friendly, and then they pay the VAT. This is amazing, guys. What a... gosh, I need to save this. This is probably the best example of a shipping section I have seen since the VAT changes. So kudos to them. This is how we're going to do it. See, it's a good thing I did this live view. I just figured out how we're going to do the VAT section for Mythic Mischief. So really, really good. Age of Adam. When is a good time to use the plain text? Is there one? We don't use plain text that often in our campaigns. It's just that if it's just going to be black text on a white background, then for accessibility reasons and for legibility, just do it plain text. I don't personally like plain text in game or in pages, but like I get why it's not plain text here because they have it, with the heroes there. And I get why it's not plain text here because they want to use the font. They want to have it all look similar. You can't use custom fonts on Kickstarter. There's a lot of problems with Kickstarter, in my opinion. But like, if you're going to do this, just make it look slightly more designed. Like, look how well designed the top of the page is. Like, all of this is so well designed. Just take that extra step and invest in gameplay. Gameplay should be, maybe it's not. Gameplay should be the most important thing. It just should be. I know it's not. I know people are collectors and they're like, oh, well, this is really good minis and it has some exclusives, so I'm going to buy it. And without even looking at gameplay. And like, I get that. But like, if it's not good, no one's going to want to buy it later. It doesn't matter how good the components are, unless it's just a mini campaign. It's like, yeah, I play D&D and I want that dragon. Like, where is the investment in gameplay here? So major concerns. No investment in the gameplay section. It's not a bad gameplay section. I just want it to be more designed. No external verification whatsoever. There's not a single external video or quote on the page at all that I see. Maybe they're going to add that, but like, they obviously wanted that initial giant push. They've got 357,000. That's gone up considerably since we've been playing or looking at the page. Like, that needed to be there. Okay. I'm going to stop it there. I really do want to look at Mosaic. I've heard amazing things about Mosaic. We're going to look at it next week instead. So I'm excited to look at that with everybody next week. Don't forget something with purple in the name of it for the giveaway for a Kickstarter exclusive edition of Moonrakers. Please comment after the show for that. And then a couple of closing things. Felix wants to know when we can expect first artworks. I'm excited to see the style of the game. All right, so we are going to do either an Ivy Games Weekly or a different show altogether that's not Ivy Games Weekly themed that will do like an art breakdown, and we'll talk about the artists and the initial sketches and kind of go through that whole thing. And we will do it there. Oh, another good thing from Aaron. It's searchable. Plain text is searchable. It's an important thing to note. However, if half your page is plain text and half of it isn't, then like the searchability of it isn't super helpful. But yeah. All right. Cool. Sebastian says, I keep having brain friction. I keep seeing a purple haze behind you, but then I keep reading orange on your hat. That's hilarious. So funny. Sorry, Sebastian. Thanks, everybody, for watching. This is our third episode of Ivy Backed. I would love your feedback. This is still an evolving show. It's been really fun so far, and I've had a blast, but I keep running the shows an hour and a half. If that's something you want me to bring down to 60 minutes, I can. It just seems too long to me, but if you guys are enjoying it, I'm happy to keep talking. I can talk this long without meaning to. So, would love to keep going there. And, yeah, final thoughts, really good campaigns. I think all of them have something good about them. All the games look pretty good. I just wish they made a few changes to help convert their traffic just a little bit better. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for a IV and BFF Games playthrough of Hidden Leaders. That's going to be a blast. I think Zach's joining me. I still got to confirm that. And then Friday, we're going to do an IV Games Weekly, I believe, with Ice. So that's going to be really, really fun. I can't wait to talk about that game because, man, is it pretty. It is such a good-looking game. So that'll be a blast. All right. Thanks so much for watching, guys. It was wonderful talking and looking at these, talking about and looking at these campaign pages together. And thank you so much for watching.